All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at your asynchronous assignment for today. We weren't able to actually have class, so I can't actually teach it to you, so I'm gonna teach it to you now. Don't forget, you still had to do the inequalities from Monday and Tuesday, and there will be a place for you to submit this in Schoology on Friday, so save that still. But let's look at today and tomorrow's. Now this assignment I needed to make a video for because we haven't actually learned this at all. Great. Okay, so we have talked about functions being even and odd graphically, where if it reflects over the y-axis, it's even, it reflects over the origin, it's odd. Now we're gonna look at it algebraically. So if your, let me get a highlighter. If your function is even, algebraically, f of x will equal f of negative x. If your function is odd, f of negative x will equal negative f of x. So that's what we're looking for. So what we're gonna do is take your equation, figure out each of these values, and then see which ones are equal to determine even or odd. So if we're gonna do even, and our function is x squared plus 2, that's f of x, we're gonna see if this function is equal to f of negative x, meaning we're gonna plug in a negative x everywhere we see an x. So we're gonna do that. Instead of x squared, we'll have negative x squared and then just plus 2. We'll simplify this. A negative squared is just gonna stay positive. You still have plus 2. So since these are the same, you have an even function. So now let's do odd. We're given a function, x cubed, and now I have to find both of these to see if they're equal. So if I plug in a negative x to the function, a negative number cubed is still negative. Now this is different because you're gonna take the negative, then write your whole function. So distribute your negative, and these are the same. So it's odd. Okay, so that's how to determine even or odd. So now that's what we're gonna do here. So I'm gonna give you the original function. You're gonna have to find f of negative x and negative f of x. Based on the answers for these three, determine which ones are equal to decide even or odd. So if I plug in a negative x first, a negative squared is positive. And then if you do the negative, write the whole equation, distribute your negative, and that'll be plus 3 now. Now look at your final three answers. These two are the same, so f of x is equal to f of negative x, and that is even. Oh my gosh, my pencil just broke. Yay. Okay, let's do it again. So I'm gonna find g of negative x and negative g of x. So let's plug in a negative x here. Negative squared is positive. Two negatives become a positive, minus 2. And now negative, write the whole equation. Distribute your negative. So I'm comparing these three. They are all different. That means neither. Cool. And I'll let y'all practice on number 3. All right, the other item of business are the word problems. We have some mixture problems. Now for these, you are creating your own equations and solving what they ask you to solve for. So we have some antifreeze and we want to add it to 25 liters of a 30% solution to get a 70% solution. So I want to increase the percent of antifreeze in my solution. Well, what I mean by solution is like antifreeze, like mixed with water or something like that. I'm not a chemist, but let's calm down. So this is 100%. This is pure antifreeze being added to a solution. Everybody got it? Great. So what I'm gonna do is First, I have 25 liters of a 30% solution. So I'm gonna do 30% written as a decimal, and I have 25 liters of that. If I'm gonna add antifreeze to it, I put my percentage on the outside. 100% as a percentage is just 1. And then I don't know how much I'm adding, so that's where my X is gonna go. But I know I want it to equal, I want to get a 70% solution. Well, when I combine these two together, that's how much I'm gonna get. I started with 25 liters and I added some amount to it. So whatever that is how much solution is gonna be in your final mixture. So the way I remember when writing the equation is whatever you do in your parentheses here, so 25 plus X is what needs to go here. If we had a minus, we would have written 25 minus X in this parentheses. And now we literally just take our calculator and start solving. So multiply this to get 7.5. This will just be 1 times X. Distribute your 0.7. And now solve for X. Blah, blah, blah. We'll get 0.3X. Subtract that to get 10. Divide by 0.3. And you get repeating 3s. So now, whenever we do word problems, we do need a unit. So our final answer is 33.33. Let's go back and read. We were trying to figure out how much antifreeze, so that's liters. So that's how much antifreeze needs to be added to get a 70% solution. All right, how much water should be evaporated from this solution to get a 14% solution? So we want our solution percentage to increase by taking out the water. So basically this time we're removing the water to leave acid. Now you probably realize evaporated, we are going to be subtracting because I'm taking out water. But unlike antifreeze being at 100%, water is 0%. There's no acid or salt or anything in there. So I start out with 10% of 65 milliliters. I'm taking out water, so minus 0%, and I don't know how much I'm taking out. I know that this is going to be 0, but I'm going to write it here for the sake of understanding what's happening. Equals, I want to get 14%. Well, how much is in the solution? 65 minus X. So now we're just going to solve. This will be 6.5. That's just 0. So distribute your 0.14. So that'll be 9.1 minus 14x, subtract the 9.1, divide by 0.14. Okay, so now I have to figure out what I was solving for, how much water, so 18.57 milliliters. Cool. Last one we'll do together. We're combining two acid solutions to get, okay, so we want to obtain this by mixing 70% and 30%. So I know I want everything to equal 40% of 50 ounces. That's what I want to get. I'm going to mix together a 70% and a 30%. So I'm going to start with a 70. I don't know how much of 70. But I know I'm mixing it, I'm combining it with the 30%. Well, now here's where people get confused. I can't write X here again because I already used X. But I know that these two numbers have to add up to what? Oh, you said 50? Good. So if X was 20, then this would be 30 because they have to add up to 50. So what we're going to do here is say 50 minus X. Because if this is 20, I would do 50 minus 20 to get 30. Does that make sense? I know. Great. So now we're just solving for X. We're doing our algebra. So this piece is 20.7x. Distribute your 0.30, 15 minus 0.30x. Combining like terms, bring the 15 across. So I solve for x. However, the question says how much of each solution. So I'm going to have two answers here. Well, by solving for x, I solve for the one beside the 70%. So the 12.5 ounces is of the 70%. Well, now we need to find the of 30%. Well, I know 12.5 and my other number have to add up to 50. So I'm going to do 50 minus 12.5 to get 37.5. Yay! And you have two more problems here to practice with, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye!